the first time that I ever met Toni and Richard, I instantly fell in love with them. And I didn't know why I loved them so much. I just knew that I loved them. And although we didn't have a close relationship, as in, we didn't see each other every week or anything like that, we knew who each other were, and I was always interested to hear how they were going and, how's Richard, because I knew Richard wasn't well. And I hadn't seen them for a while, and they'd been on my mind, and I was like, I'd love to see them. And I was in Fremantle, and I took a walk to have lunch with some girlfriends. And while I was walking down the street and into the cafe, I started to feel a huge amount of energy coming in. And fortunately for me, I'm used to that to some degree, but this was a bit, out of the blue. Not usually when you're walking into a cafe, right? But there was a huge amount of energy, and my legs started to, really vibrate, and felt like I was going to take off. And then I had to sit down, and everyone was a bit like, well, are you okay? And there was a lady, there was a friend of mine in South Africa, and she goes, what, is the food not okay in here? I like the food in here. Is there something wrong with the energy? And I said, no, nothing wrong with the energy. Everything's good. I said, there's just a lot of energy coming in. And so about 30 seconds later, there was a phone call, and the phone call was from Toni and Richard. So I answered, and Toni said, are you sitting down? I said, well, as a matter of fact, I am. She goes, no, really, are you sitting down? And I said, yeah. I didn't say I had to because there's a huge amount of energy coming in, but anyway, that's what happened. And she said, I'm about to ask you something you've probably never been asked before. And I said, okay. Shoot. And she said, well, you know how Richard's been sick? Well, I wonder if we'd like you to be involved with the ceremony after he's, gone. And I said, oh, I'd be honoured. It would be a privilege, And after we'd said a few more things, and I said, gosh, so it was you, And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, all this energy started coming through my being. I was like, something's up, something's going on. There's a tremor in the force, right? And so I knew that was them communicating about it, and spirit moving them and moving me before we'd even had the verbal conversation. I knew that it was going to be big. I knew it was going to be big. So we caught up, and we did some healing work with sound, with bowls. Had another dear friend who's wonderful with sound also, Julian, come play the didge, and he and I played really well together, and that was beautiful. And there was just so much love in the room. We did all sorts of things to help make it easier for Richard. And after the second, I think it was the second time I came, I said, I feel compelled, I feel moved to offer you to help you more. I can help you more, and this is how I can help. I can help you when you're ready to leave, when you're ready to come out of your vehicle, when you're ready to move back through the dimensions, back home to where you came from. Then I'd like to be able to help you if you'll accept my help. And he said, how would that work? What would that be like? So Richard's a practical guy, he's an engineer. You know, he likes to know the inner workings of things. And I said, well, you know, with energy, I can help you to come out cleanly and clearly in the same way I do an energy healing. I'll be able to work through stuff with you so that you can leave here clean. You don't have attachments, you don't get stuck to the earth, so that you have the opportunity to clear anything that remains to be cleared, say anything that hasn't been said. And I can help you connect with the non-physical beings who love you unconditionally and can get you home safe, create a sacred space. And I said, I'll be able to talk to you same as we're talking now. You know, it'll be just like this, won't be any different. And I'll be able to hear you and you'll be able to hear me, and, you know, we're just not talking with our mouths moving. And he was like, right, I would love that, that would be awesome. And I was like, okay, cool. So then there was the practicalities of, well, I was like, well then, how's that going to work? How are we going to, you know, how are you going to actually be there when the time comes? How do we make that work? And I said, well, it's the verbal agreement is already there. My word is my bond. If I say it, then I'll mean it. I'll follow through. And if you agree, then so it will be. So long as we let go and let God do the working out, because I can't control that, neither can you. And so that's what happened. I said, well, day or night, whatever, you know, I'm at your disposal as it rolls out. And of course the day came and Richard had gone to hospital. I was planning to come to see him, and then things got sped up quicker. The divine had other plans. You know, Toni had called me, I missed a call, and then she called me again and I was on my way. I was moving house, interestingly, so was Richard. Sense of humour, divine sense of humour, irreverently reverent as always. So I got Tony's call and I said, right, I'm on my way. And I just, you know, I was like, okay, team, let's go. I arrived at the hospital, came up the stairs. Toni came to meet me at the stairs and I came in with her into the room, and instantly I was pulled to Richard, and because I knew that I could already feel him leaving, you know, I could feel him leaving, so I had to go straight there and help him sort of, you know, I didn't even really have time to explain to people what was happening. I managed to get to him and sort of stabilise what was happening, connect, and then everything else started to come into place in the physical. Everybody connected hearts, we invoked, and away it went. And it was like poetry in motion. Like, you've never witnessed anything so beautiful. To witness the Holy Spirit move through people together. There's no denying it, you know, there's no denying it. Everyone felt it. We were all moved, everyone was breathing together, loving together, crying together. I was crying, like I am now, only more. I could barely speak. It was so beautiful. Even in the pain, there is beauty. Because what's happening is that person's being born, you know. from where we sit, we're looking at them going away, but they're not going away, they're going to. And it's the love, it's the vast amount of love that we feel in our hearts that goes with them. That love is timeless and ageless. It spans eternity. And of course I helped Richard to get out of his body, and the first thing he said was, once he came to, because it's kind of a bit like, whoa, where am I, what happened? It's okay, cool, you're out of your body now, you're safe. I'm not saying this out loud, of course, this is happening between us. And once he came to, then we could start communicating and going through the process of cleaning him up, and like you would a baby, like you clean up a baby when it comes into the world. It's the same going out. And then all of the realizations occur. And how life is not what we think it is. And how if we'd realised what we knew then, then how we would have lived our lives different. And how nothing but love matters. Richard shared a few pertinent things with his children that I wasn't privileged to know about, you know. I just simply was the channel for what he wanted to say. And I was told later that the things that he said to them after he left his body were things that he'd said to them in life. And so it's wonderful to have that kind of feedback, you know, so that you know that what's happening is real. You can't measure this stuff except with emotion. You can't measure this stuff except with feedback from people who are still in their bodies. And so there's a profound magnificence that awaits all of us.